All members are present with the exception of Vice Chair Clara Harden. Please rise for the opening ceremonies. Let us pray. We come today to honor you and to remind ourselves of the pivotal place in our lives. We ask for your blessings on this meeting. We ask that your wisdom would guide us as we seek to accomplish the goals on today's agenda. Thank you for the opportunities you give us to serve you and to serve others. May our actions and our attitudes please you today. We pray these things in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Before we adopt the agenda, I would like to publicly congratulate the entire election department for being selected as the 2023 Camden County Department of the Year. Y'all make elections look easy. Congratulations. All right, are there any amendments or corrections to the agenda? There being no amendments or corrections, this agenda is adopted as presented. Moving on to approval of the minutes for the November 6, 2023 regular board meeting. The only change that I have is for the Pledge of Allegiance was led by Kelly Stoplet. We'll get that changed. Are there any other changes?
No.
Seeing no other changes, there being no other corrections or changes, these minutes are approved as changed. Okay. Public comments? Anyone have any public comments on the agenda items? Seeing none, go to financial report.
All right, good afternoon, board members. I only have through the end of November. I didn't get December's quite yet, which is usually what you end up getting the month before. But are there any questions with what you see? We're at about 17, almost 18% used up of the budget. We haven't hit the good stuff yet, so it'll fly on out of that account before too long, but that's what we're looking at right now. I think, let me see if it's on here. No, we have paid out. It just isn't reflected here in November yet, but the repair and maintenance of equipment, 522202 under contracted services. We did just pay that chunk out recently for our, to warranty our equipment going into this election year. So, but if there's no other questions, that's all I had on the financials.
Board have any questions?
No.
Moving on to election supervisor update.
I want to introduce someone that's sitting next to me. I think everybody's had a chance maybe to meet him except for Miss Barbara. But this is Rockney Carter, better known as Rock.
Okay.
Rock comes to us from Lowndes County elections, which is fantastic because he knows when I say BMD or Dominion, or he knows all the jargon already. He's very familiar with the equipment. And Lowndes County, their director, their supervisor of elections runs a very, very tight ship. So he has had lots of training and he knows lots of good stuff. So we are blessed really to have him on board. He had big shoes to fill when he came in, take over for Deborah, who retired at the end of the year. But so far, he's done an amazing job, and he is going to help in leading poll worker training this week and next week. So I'd like y'all to welcome Rock because we're happy to have him.
Welcome, Rock.
Welcome.
Would you like to say anything? Didn't know if you wanted to give a little back.
Oh, no, we don't have that much time. I previously stayed in Rock Carter from Lowndes County. I worked there 4 years, 2 years as a holding place manager. And the last 2 years I've been an equipment tech. So I've been dealing with the equipment from pole pad to BMD scanner and well familiar with the LNA process. Prior to that, I would say auditor and financial advisor as well. So I have a little bit of experience with some numbers. So I am very, very happy to be here in Camden County.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Welcome to the best election department in Georgia.
That's true. That's true.
And he is not driving back and forth from Lowndes County, so don't y'all worry about that.
Oh,
All right, I had a few other things to go over. I gave you all, as I came in, the dates for some proposed advanced voting times and dates. When we set our budget, of course, we said 3 weeks of advanced voting at the annex in Kingsland. And we were going to try to do more advanced voting in Woodbine and St. Mary's. So that's what we have proposed, and that's what's budgeted, 2 weeks of advanced voting in St. Mary's at the Welcome Center. You can't do advanced voting just anywhere, so it has to be at a government complex. And that is our polling site for South St. Mary's. So also, we will do advanced voting here in Woodbine for 2 weeks. And you'll see the dates that I've provided on your sheet. Of course, we'll be at the annex every possible day that advanced voting is available. It begins February 19th. And then we have to do the first 2 Saturdays of advanced voting. That's required by law. So we'll be at the annex from February 19th through the 24th. February 24th through March the 2nd. The 2nd is a Saturday. And March 4th through the 8th, which is the 3rd and final week of advanced voting before the presidential preference primary on March the 12th. To not confuse the voter, we opted to be open just 8 to 5. When staff discussed the different options for this, we felt that was better than going 8 to 6 on one day or opening 9 to 6 on one day and being open 8 to 5 on others. We just kept it the same across the board, 8 to 5 every day. Saturday would be 8 to 4. That is the only difference. There's only 2 Saturdays of advanced voting, and advanced voting on a Saturday will only be held in Kingsland at the annex. Now, the 2 weeks for advanced voting in St. Mary's and at the Government Services Complex here downstairs in our office area will both be the last 2 weeks of the advanced voting period. So they would begin February 26th and go through March the 1st. We would just be open Monday through Friday again. Monday through Friday, March 4th through the 8th as well, both at the St. Mary's Welcome Center and the Woodbine Government Services Complex. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., no Saturday voting at those 2 locations. And am I forgetting anything? Forgetting anything? We talked about dates for early processing to include, and I forgot to put that on your sheet, so you'll have to jot that down. I apologize, but as you might or might not know, qualifying for the upcoming May primary falls on the last week of advanced voting, March 4th through the 8th. And I do most of the qualifying unless it's the Republican Party. Generally, the Republican Party sends a representative to do qualifying. And then independents and nonpartisans qualify with me as well. But so that last week, March 4th through the 8th will be a little hairy. And that's where I put early processing. we're allowed by law to start early processing 2 weeks prior to the election. We have generally easily been able to accommodate processing absentee ballots early by starting mid to early week of the week before elections, not 2 weeks before. So the dates I have proposed with staff are March 6th, which is a Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. March 7th, Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. March 8th, Friday, noon to 4 o'clock, noon to 4 o'clock. And then Saturday on March 9th from 9 a.m. to noon for early processing. Early processing is super helpful if we have board members present to assist with that. So if you mark your calendars, I would love to have you some of that time. We also have Republican Party members and Democrat Party members. So that's what we're looking at for early processing. And then we would start back processing Tuesday, election day. We didn't select the time for that. We'd probably do just after lunch sometime. And I can get that published. So that's the proposed dates that staff and I have come up with. Do y'all have anything to add, staff? I mean, we take various items into consideration when we look at when and where and what hours we're going to hold the advanced voting. And we've done previous advanced voting where we've opened the annex for an extra hour on the last day of the week. I think Leona managed it when we did that, and at the most, I think we had 7 people. So that's why we just kind of easy peasy, 8 to 5. That's 3 locations for 2 weeks. You know, 1 week, it's just 1 location, but there are multiple opportunities. You know, I was shocked to hear when Rock came to work for us, as big as Lowndes County is, Valdosta area. They do 1 place in the whole county for advanced voting. And that's all that's open, the entire 3 weeks plus the 2 Saturdays.
What are their hours around on advanced voting?
The first 2 weeks are from 7 to 7. And Saturdays will be 8 to 5.
Any other questions?
I have a couple more comments, and then
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you all feel like you need to, you know, provide any suggestions, I'm happy to hear those. We do start manager and co-manager training this week, and we start clerk training for poll workers next week. Our manager and co-manager training signups, we have 41 individuals signed up. Which is great. So that's at each of the 11 polling places, we have to have a manager and 2 co-managers, right? So that's 33 people. We know for sure we're training 41, which is good. And we have a couple of people that fell off of this list due to injury, due to COVID. So, you know, there's other opportunities out there moving forward in the other elections. The clerk training is a little slow with sign up. 36 people right now are signed up for clerk training, which is the following week. We're still working on that, and we're still getting daily signups for that. So I don't think we're quite done with our numbers there. And that gives us a total of 77 poll workers right now. As when I came up here, we have 11 polling places. So we have the potential to have 7 people at each polling place if needed. Yeah, but obviously, I'm still looking for poll workers and would love to have additional people sign up. They can do that on our website. Come to our training, get all signed up and trained. We'll do it a little bit different this year with Rock's experiences from his location where he came from, and they'll actually have to test out of equipment training and things like that to be able to move forward as a manager or a co-manager. especially, and as a clerk even.
What would your ultimate numbers be?
Uh,
Ideally, that you would like to have?
I'd like to have at least another 25 clerks, poll worker trained, new people or returning people sign up in addition to the 30 that we have right now. 25 to 35 people.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are still getting applications in every day. So that, I just wanted to kind of give you an idea. Training, will be here tomorrow for managers and co-managers. It's here all day tomorrow, and it's here, or then, Kingsland at the Annex all day on Saturday. And then next week, we have a variety of poll worker training classes that begin on Wednesday and end on Saturday. And those are a little bit shorter for the clerk training. And I just kind of wanted to give you an update where our numbers were. In July of 23, we had 43,937 registered voters. Of those, 37,489 were active voters. This just kind of gives you an idea. We really went hard into our voter roll maintenance and did a lot of maintenance on our voter rolls that were directed by the state. So December numbers, registered voters were down to 41,941. So about a 2,000 person difference. Our active numbers went down as well to about 35,000 from 37,000. And our inactives really stayed the same. They're about 1,000 off, maybe 50 off, something like, 100 off or 50 off, nothing major there. So we did do some good list maintenance. We still have information coming back with the little cards that went out for people with change of addresses, move in-state, out-of-state. We also recently got new precinct cards for every voter in the state. When we made our precinct changes, we changed our poll numbers. Like we did have 1 through 14. Now we have 301 through 311, which required every card to be changed. And the number of cards we're getting back in returned mail just makes me queasy. Because we still have a lot of cards that come back to us. So, but the new precinct cards are going out. They're going out a little bit every day. So if your spouse got theirs and you didn't get yours, it's coming. We still have several more boxes to mail out. So don't think we're done yet. If you didn't get it, it's okay. It's probably coming. And in addition, I don't think we've met since we attended, the 4 of us attended training and the conference in Athens. And it was a great conference. We learned a lot. I think we had 2 members of the board that were there as well that learned a lot. 3. Claire's not here. Yeah, so I thought it was, if you all want to say something about it, I thought it was very, very well put together. We learned a lot. We did leave with a little baggie of 4 doses of Narcan, which is a little scary.
Yeah.
So the Narcan was being provided to us and a big stress was put on the possibility of, just threats in the upcoming year, threats with drugs, threats with things in absentee ballots, threats with people. So I am looking into some additional training that we can do for our poll workers with that. But I will actually, through the Camden County Sheriff's Office, I was able to get 24 additional doses of Narcan. And I would have 1 box. 1 box has 2 doses in it, and you have to be trained on how to administer it. My goal is to have one at every one package, which is 2 doses at every polling place, just in case there's an issue. The majority of our absentee ballots go through the Postal Service, and the Postal Service system will actually catch like an envelope that might have something in it, like fentanyl in it, before it actually gets dispersed to the actual mailbox. So we're hoping that there are no issues there, but we did want some on hand here because we do open a lot of absentee ballots here that come from the ballot box in Kingsland. That'll be at the annex. So just to give you all an idea on that, we do have Narcan now in the office. So. Any question? It has been so busy. that We can't even tell you. The people calling about qualifying, the people calling for absentee ballot applications, the people walking in to register. If the beginning of this year is any indication of how the rest of the year goes, it'll be an interesting year. And you all might need to come work in the office.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I mean, if it's like that, do you need us up in the office for, jack of all trades kind of situation? Would that be a benefit or would it not?
Well, we actually have a couple of retired individuals that are on our poll worker staff that are amazing, and they want to volunteer in our office to do things with us. So right now, we're good because we have several people that we can pull from to help. But I assure you, if we need you all to come, I'll let you know when and where to be there. Definitely those election dates. I have magnets for everybody that we created with election dates, so you can put on your fridge and not forget. We definitely would love to have you all help on election days and during early voting and early processing, of course.
Okay.
So. Any questions, any early processing questions, any early voting questions?
Not yet.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. No.
I did not. You'll see a newspaper ad next week that'll have both the LNA dates and the qualifying fees for the qualifying people or for people qualifying for an elected position. But LNA is going to start Tuesday, January 30th at 9 a.m. over at the warehouse. So that's when I say we, but it's not usually me. It's usually Dennis and someone else who can assist him. But we do go through each and every machine and do a logic and accuracy testing on those machines before they go out to the public. And in addition to that, he can't really even start that until we get our project. The project is the election package for this election. So that contains the ballot that we use, and that's what he puts in each machine to test it. We don't have our ballots back. I approved the final proof after going back and forth several times with Dennis and I working on corrections. We got the final okay on our ballot on Friday, and we have, anybody want to guess how many ballots we have? Remember, it's primary.
Right.
Just let's take a guess, see who can get closest.
111.
Nah, no.
Let's see, you got 11 precincts,
11 precincts. We have Republican ballots, Democrat ballots.
right?
We have federal ballot,
Yep.
38.
55,
Okay.
55. So there's 55 different ballots.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that's crazy but also in addition to that, and I don't know that I've made you aware of this yet, but the county's Joint Development Authority requested a question on the ballot. Did y'all see?
Right.
Because okay, the Freeport exemption question will be on the ballot. And so most ballots will have your whatever party ballot you choose plus a Freeport exemption tax, which is, about this long in text and I think difficult to comprehend if you're not somewhat familiar with the work of joint development or warehouse areas and industrial parks. So the way that it was explained to me that I think is the easiest way to comprehend it is basically the owner of a company, and say it's Amazon, has a large warehouse here and they have tons of stuff sitting on the shelves, right? But if they have tons of stuff sitting on the shelves, then they might only be there for 8 hours before they get packed up and go somewhere else. It's an exemption. It's a fourth level because Camden County already has Freeport exemption 1, 2, and 3. It's a fourth level exemption of tax on the items in the store, in the warehouse, I'm sorry. That's probably not the
Right.
most exact way to explain it, but that's how my little brain comprehends it. So I have made sure I have discussed with the Joint Development Authority that it is not our job to explain their question. I didn't write the question. I was only given the question to put on the ballot. So it's their job. They need to educate the public about what is best for Camden County. Is a vote of yes best, or is a vote of no best? And that's not an answer that staff or I or you as board members
I
can.
don't, I don't want
Can
you
offer.
or the board explaining any of that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, if anyone has questions concerning what's on the ballot, the question on the ballot, so that's technically, it's a special election. But it could be put, because it was done in a timely manner, on the presidential preference primary ballot. They can contact the Camden County Joint Development Authority. Okay.
Yeah, so the way I read it was any distribution center that does not actually interface with the public at the building, that's where the tax exempt would come in, like a Walmart distribution, Amazon distribution, Target distribution.
And we don't have some of those yet, but for future growth,
Right.
it's a selling point for, anyway, that's how I look at it, but that's, all right, I think that's all I have. That was a lot.
They actually covered new business too,
Thank you.
all in one.
Did I?
Good job. You're fine.
Okay.
All right, so any questions for the election supervisor? Questions in general? All right, we're going to move on to Board of Election Registration Training. And I'm not giving it this time.
Okay.
And it's on poll officers.
Okay, poll officers, 21-2-90 through 21-2-201. And the first piece got it, good. The first one is the appointment of chief managers and assistant managers. Shannon kind of went over this a little bit. There's one manager, two assistant managers, and then clerks at each of the precincts. And they're appointed by the superintendent. The political parties can suggest people, and then they have to be vetted and appointed through the superintendent. So then the next slide is the appointment of the clerks. Prior to the opening of the poll in each precinct, there are a sufficient number of clerks. Throughout the day, if needed, Shannon's office has the ability to reassign additional help on that. Qualification of poll officers. This is to make sure that poll officers are judicious, intelligent, upright citizens. They need to be residents of the county they're working in. There are some exceptions to that. They have to be 16 years and older, able to read, write, speak English. And obviously, there's some issues with the nomination of public offices and whether your family has somebody on the ballot and things like that. And those are specifics to that piece. The next one is where the chunk of the conversation is going to happen today. This is 21-2-92 Student Teen Election Participant STEP Program. It was started, and Camden County jumped on board, and I met with the school superintendent, Dr. Traquoya Green, and Mr. Campese. Mr. Campese turned it over to Assistant Principal Derek Chastain at the high school, and I will be meeting with them next week. And I believe at this point, he's got one teacher. We want it to start small. I think it's important if we're going to be successful that it starts off small. And so I'm going to meet with Mr. Chastain, one of his advanced placement teachers, and they're going to look at it through the American Government class, which is the perfect place. They've got standards for that area. And I said 5 students, Mr. Chastain said 10. That made me very happy. But we're going to go through that. And I also gave the idea that it probably needs to start at the PSA because that's a walking type of situation. And for students to even be involved in something like this, obviously they have to be U.S. citizens. They have to have a driver's license. They have to have age-appropriate academic ability from the previous year. They have to have a clean discipline record, which is letter D for responsible community behavior. And then there's some, the student who's working as a poll worker would also have to be under the advisement of a 21-year-old or older person who's already been trained in the piece. And then obviously they have to have parent permission. So that's all in the works right now. Nothing's been written in stone, but we're very excited to see it progressing. So I'm very excited.
Thank you.
The next are the oath of office manager and clerks. Y'all, anybody who's working in the polling place has to take an oath. They have to do it before they start their duties in the morning. I know this happens. I've been a poll worker. I've been an assistant manager and a clerk, and this happens. And there's a succession that goes on. The chief manager swears in the assistant manager, and then the assistant manager and the clerks take it. So it's a nice progression that happens here. They sign duplicate oaths to say that they took the oath, and then those are turned in. The next one, I just kind of gave two different things. These are the form of the manager's oath and the clerk's oath, and they're pretty self-explanatory that they take that oath. So the next one, this will be the fastest slide ever. Everybody gets an identification badge. You think that this is small, but it's really nice to have your ID badge on and everybody know exactly who you are when the public walks in that building. Those are given out before the day starts, and they are collected at the end of the day. This is the best part. This is compensation for poll workers. And those have even increased nicely since I think I started poll working a while ago. And then some of the poll worker trainings are right there as well. Shannon, did you tell me that there was one change on the clerk trainings or the,
Yeah, I
was
think
that correct?
this was correct.
You already changed it
Yeah,
for me.
we already-
Okay.
It was already, right, we had canceled one of our days, but we merged people together, so that's all right. And you can see that the salaries, or not salaries, but the daily wage is a little bit greater on election day voting. Why? Because they're there at 5:45 and we don't know when they're gonna leave.
Right.
So they get paid a little bit higher of a stipend than they would on early voting, which is where everybody wants to work because they think they can go in at 7:45 and leave at 5:15.
Yeah.
So-
It's a long day, but it's worth it. Okay,
That's all
and
one.
the next slide. This is I put two links up here. The first one's our Camden County link that Shannon's office runs, and then also the Georgia poll workers that are in here. And this just talks about the different training that goes on, the voting equipment, voting procedures, and all aspects of the state and laws. And I think I'm pretty excited, Rock, to see the addition of a small quiz at the end for those two. It's a little intimidating, though, I have to tell you that, is from my perspective. So, yeah, and it goes on and talks about the special elections and things like that. So then the next slide, I think this is what you folks will be using, right? Yeah, that's okay. These are the videos on the right-hand side. These are from the Secretary of State. And we, as poll workers, go through each one of those and ask questions about that. And then some of the training materials on the left side. And then they give some links. And those are available on the Secretary of State's website, should anybody want to look at those in detail.
Yeah, so we're actually going to do something a little different this year with these videos. And we're still going to ask the clerks and the managers to view this, but they're going to have to sign a document for us that states they did do it on their own time. Because we feel like we have more one-on-one stuff that we can communicate with them.
Right.
That would be a better training aspect. Although the videos have great stuff in them, we have been working with Rock and trying to have a different approach to training. So we're going to see how that goes, but it'll be more hands-on, and they'll still have to do this, but they're going to have to sign that they have completed all of the videos.
Nice, thank you. 21-2-100 talks about training of local officials. That is our Gavria conference that many of us just attended. I also had the opportunity to be in Atlanta this year to go over the Dominion training. And I know that there's numerous other trainings that are done. They ask that at least 12 training hours be done on a 2-year basis, I think is the plan on that. Okay, and then the next slide is 21-2-101, and that's actually certification programs that I know a couple of us have already gone through and completed, and then some of us are in the process of going through those right now. And those are actually required, and if you're a failure to comply, there's ramifications for that. And I know that we're all in the middle of going through those right now.
Yeah, and this whole training by the state has just been revamped. So it was just released a couple of months ago for all election employees and board members to complete.
Right. Okay. Usually at the end of our presentation, Chairman Rapp has a question and answer session, but I'm going to forego that tonight. But I do charge everybody in this room, without our poll workers, whether they're high school students or members of our community, without those poll workers at some level, our elections don't happen. And I ask that each one of y'all, go in your mind, go through people that you know and that you know would do a good job, and ask them to look through the application and possibly apply for those positions. So that's your job. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Good training. All right, any questions on the training? All right, if not, we're going to go into important upcoming dates. Logic and accuracy test will begin Tuesday, January 30th at 9 a.m. Talked about that early. Poll worker training, that's Thursday and Saturday, January 18th and 20th. And what time is that training?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9
All
to
right.
5 for those. The Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday is a little different.
Okay.
So if you're interested in coming to that, give us a call.
Okay. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, January 24th, 25th, and 27th. That's the clerks. Last day to register to vote for the PPP is Monday, February 12th, 2024. President's Day is Monday, February 19th. Advanced in-person AIP voting begins Monday, February 19th. Our next board meeting is Wednesday, February 21st at 4 p.m. here. Saturday, advanced in-person voting will be February 24th and March 2nd. Last day to request a mail-in absentee ballot is Friday, March 1st, 2024. And the PPP is actually on Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. And we'll have a board meeting on Monday, March 18th to certify that election. And Good Friday is Friday, March 29th, 2024, and all government offices will be closed during that time. Additional public comments? We're limited to 3 minutes. It can be on any subject you would like. Please state your name and address.
Mary Beckman, District 3. First of all, thank you very much for the very good presentation. I wonder if we could have access to those slides to, will they be in the video that?
They're in the video and they'll also be on the website.
Okay, we'll try to get you more. We'll try to get more poll workers for you.
Thank you. Definitely.
Did I understand correctly what you were saying, that the election in March is actually going to be the same kind of 3-part election as the primaries usually are, so that you'll have a choice of a nonpartisan ballot, in effect, that's just that special election for the question, and then, okay. Okay, I'll make sure that we let people know that then. I just want to point out that when you make comparison to Lowndes County, you should keep in mind that while Lowndes County is bigger in population, it's considerably smaller in area. And so we appreciate that you are going to have election advance in-person early voting in Woodbine. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, if there are no objections, this meeting will adjourn. Since there are no objections, this meeting is adjourned.
And if you want